What's going on, guys? It's Hi, and I recently got the approval for my first suppressor, this Dead Air Wolfman, and it was done through SilencerShop's eForms submission system. In this video, I want to talk to you about the process that I went through and just give you an impression for somebody who's completed the entire eForms process. Late November of 2021, word around the internet was that the ATF was going to reintroduce eForms, particularly eForms Form 4. And for those who don't know, a Form 4 is essentially a transfer of ownership of a completed NFA item from one party to another. So just imagine it as buying a fully completed, fully functional SBR, suppressor, whatever NFA item, transferring that item from a dealer to your possession. Prior to the eForms system, a Form 4 was essentially done with paper printouts, physical paper mailed from one party to another. And as you can imagine, this could make things difficult as it's hard to really track where a piece of paper is going and really anywhere in the process. With eForms, they are essentially digitizing the process and allowing various documents to be sent online. In the past, the approval process for paper Form 4 could largely be a guess. It could take a month, 6 months, a year, 10 years, nobody knows because it takes as long as the ATF wants it to take. But with eForms, the ATF is largely advertising that in 2022 it would take 90 days and that in 2023 it could possibly take 30 days. I personally have always been in the mindset that I'm not going to blow around $1,000 to just have something that I bought wait around for who knows how long, a year, before I ever see it. So I never got into NFA items, but with eForms, I thought, hey, maybe now is the time because 3 months is a lot more doable than who knows when. What's funny is that when I initially purchased my Wolfman on November 16th of 2021, I don't believe eForms was announced yet because I definitely didn't know about it. If I remember correctly, the announcement was actually made a week or two after my initial purchase, with eForms set to launch on December 23rd of 2021. SilencerShop said that with all the paperwork that would be done through them, everything from December 4th or so moving forward would be held out until eForms officially launched and then filed with eForms because obviously it would take a lot sooner than going the paper route. But everything purchased prior to December 4th would be done with the traditional paper route. As you can imagine, I was pretty frustrated thinking that I completely missed out on eForms and I'm gonna wait, who knows how long for my suppressor. So I thought, all right, eForms is out, let's just buy another suppressor, a second one, and see how fast eForms really is. However, in the background, something weird was going on with my Wolfman. I waited and waited, and about a month later, I heard nothing about the suppressor, so I decided to make some calls, see what's going on, and it turns out, unbeknownst to me, the Wolfman was actually being held and actually going to be filed via eForms. I was completely surprised, but I was happy because, like I said, I keep repeating myself, it's going to take a lot longer than the paper process. Now we get into the meat of it. My suppressor is sitting at my FFL waiting to be certified, but it turns out that the ATF or SilencerShop just didn't have their system in place properly and it was super buggy, so nothing could be done. It also turns out that the ATF didn't just flip a switch and turn eForms on for everybody. They actually had to go through and kind of pick and choose various dealers to see who gets to use it. At this point, my suppressor has been sitting at my FFL for about a month, and there really wasn't anything that we could do except wait for SilencerShop and the ATF to activate eForms so I can advance in the process. Over 2 months after my initial purchase date, and it is January 21st of 2022, I got an email saying that my suppressor was finally ready to certify. So I called up my FFL to get things started, but it turns out eForms was still super buggy at this point and we could barely access anything. Also, SilencerShop didn't really train the FFLs on how to run the system. I was literally the very first person at my FFL to do eForms, so it was a learning experience for everyone. But at the end of the day, after some trial and error, waiting on the phone with SilencerShop for like 40 minutes, me 40 minutes, and then my FFL for 40 minutes because they didn't really have a direct line to SilencerShop, so we were just both waiting in the queue. It was a nightmare, but at the end of the day, we got the Wolfman certified. At this point, the official wait started, and again the ATF is advertising a 90-day wait time, so I set alarms and whatnot and just tried to forget about the suppressor. Well, a month or so goes by and SilencerShop started making updates, making videos saying that eForms is working and giving customer testimonies saying that some were getting their suppressor form for approvals in like a week or two. So it was just crazy. Some of the testimonies that I saw actually showed that the people who got approved sent in their certification about the same day of the same week as I did. So that got me pretty excited because, man, my suppressor is coming any day now. Well, it turns out that the people who are getting these fast approvals are filing as individuals and not as a trust like I did. I went through SilencerShop's single shot trust, and as it turns out, doing a trust is going to take kind of significantly longer. If you don't know the difference between filing as an individual or as a trust, I highly advise you to research this topic because it's kind of a major part of the NFA item buying process. But just know that filing as an individual usually is faster, but it just has less benefits in some sense. So for me, it was back to waiting. The 90-day mark came and went, and then I just didn't know what to think. Maybe it was any day now, maybe it would take just as long as paper form, nobody knows. But luckily for me, I woke up on the 95th day and got an email from the ATF saying that my Form 4 was approved. So I went and picked up my Wolfman that same day, and I am now officially a suppressor owner. Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. I purchased my suppressor on 11/16 of 2021, and because of various eForms issues, I actually didn't certify my suppressor until 1/21 of 2022 and got the approval on 4/26 of 2022. From start to finish, for the Wolfman, it was 161 days, but to get the suppressor certified, it only took 95 days. Again, my situation with the Wolfman was a little bit weird, but that's kind of just something that you're going to have to be okay with if you're trying to get into NFA items, because you are at the mercy of various entities. You have very little power once the train starts rolling. It's very much so a hurry up and wait type of situation. All you can do is get your paperwork in place, send it out, and hope that everything goes right. However, there is something that I want to bring up. This whole time we've been talking about Form 4s, but there are various other forms that you can file. But when buying completed and functional NFA items, another form that you're likely going to run into is Form 3. This very likely isn't going to be something that you're directly going to be dealing with, but it's something that is a point of frustration for many people getting into NFA items. For those that are aware, a Form 3 is essentially asking for permission to move an NFA item prior to anyone really officially owning it. In my scenario, I purchased the Wolfman from SilencerShop, who is located in Texas, but I live in Washington State. So to move the suppressor from SilencerShop in Texas to Washington State, there had to be a Form 3 that needed to be approved just to move it between those 2 points. Now, Form 3 approvals is a crapshoot. It could take a week, a month, again, however long the ATF wants it to take. At this point, I've purchased 4 suppressors, and I've seen Form 3s take 1 week, 2 at 2 weeks, and 1 at 1 month. This is actually why I think my Wolfman was held out for eForms instead of just being pushed through paper form, because I purchased my Wolfman in mid-November of 2021, but it didn't get to my FFL until mid-December of 2021, so it was the one that took a month. And Form 3s are just one of those things when buying NFA items that can add an unknown amount of time to the entire process. But that's kind of the entire theme when working with the ATF. You really just don't know, and you have little to no say in the entire process. The only recommendation I have for you is to just get your paperwork in. Don't stress too much about it. It could take a week, a year, you don't know. Just forget about it, and the faster you get your paperwork in, the faster you're going to get your suppressor, your NFA item. That's all you really hope for. And that was my experience with the ATF's eForms system via SilencerShop. Like I said, I got my suppressor approved in 95 days, not the advertised 90 days, but it is pretty damn close, and that's all I can ask for. 90 days is a whole lot better than waiting a year, 6 months, whatever. I'm just happy that I have my suppressor. At this point, I have 3 more waiting for approval. My second one was submitted 3 days after the Wolfman, so fingers crossed that it's any day now. The other 2 are going to be pretty much 2.5 more months, so it'll be ready mid-late July, and I can't wait. In my opinion, the eForms system does work, so if you are interested in getting an NFA item, now is the time to do it. It's just going to get faster and faster and faster, so just get your paperwork in and you'll be with the suppressor relatively quick. And that's going to be all for this video, guys. If you've enjoyed it, I'd appreciate it if you can give the video a thumbs up, comment down below with any thoughts or questions you may have. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more content to come. And if you want to further support my work, consider hitting the join button down below to become a member of this YouTube channel or become a patron on Patreon. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.